Welcome to the DCL Split 3 finals and welcome to Abu Dhabi. We are back with the world's best drone racing teams and we're back with a real life race as well. And after the fun we had at the Yas Marina Formula 1 circuit here, of course we had to return. We're now at the Adneck Centre. 6 teams have made it to the finals. We're looking for one winner of Split 3. So this is the Adneck Centre before we, the Drone Champions League, take over and turn it into our space cube for our first drone race in a while. We've been playing with our simulator, DCL, the game that you can get on PlayStation and Xbox and PC, but time to get the good old DCL gates and the wonderful iconic pylons and everything back into a space to challenge our pilots with it. An unusual set of few gates here. Yeah, that's a 45-degree dive gate. You haven't seen one of those. Now let's see who's going to be racing. Well, of the 7 teams in the Drone Champions League, Mach 1 have had a difficult split, unable to field a full roster and one of their pilots suffering from a very bad hand injury. We send our love and hopes to you for your recovery, LaBeba. The other 6 teams, well, it is always the top 6 who make it to our split finals, so there they are. And numbers 1 through 4, well, they go into the main event, whereas the 5th and 6th places, they start in the elimination zone. The difference is, the teams in that main event, the upper half, those have 2 lives to begin with. The ones in the elimination zone, they've just got 1. Here are our pilots, starting with the legend Killian Russo. He's with J-Box, who's been battling in Split 3 for Cyclone Racing. Now we have IQ0 all the way from Australia, and the return of the bearded Long Cat. Those legends for Raiden Racing. QTFPV's been racing all season. It's a return for Screecher to the roster. They are Quad Force 1. Now we have Silvio, the captain of STT, and the brilliant young legend-to-be Red Sheep for Spain Drone Team. We have Long XL alongside this young superstar, the China Dragons with Zapita. Here's West FPV. He's alongside Chagak for Bambi is running the team from behind the scenes. They're the Wildcard Team. So looking at these 6 teams again, the top 4, well, we're going to start with Cyclone Racing, the undefeated team from Split 3. They're up against Spain Drone Team. That's usually the grand final of a split, but instead they're meeting in the first match after STT only finished 4th. Raiden and Quad Force 1 will go in the second, and then it's an elimination battle between the China Dragons and the DCL Wildcard Team, as it was in Split 2 and in Split 1. The winners of Split 1 and Split 2. Cyclone Racing are having a year, and I said that about you in 2023, J-Bots. You'll remember the first year of Cyclone in the DCL, we were on the stage in Alula. You had made it to a super finals in the first year, and now this year you're winning splits as well, so all is looking good.
Yes, yeah, very good, very good.
And behind the scenes, when the races have been happening and your pilots have been winning stuff, you've been in some of them, other pilots have sort of changed around, you all must just be feeling like Split 3 is in the bag, dare I say?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, we've been putting in a lot of work. Both me and Killian practicing a lot. All the guys at home are still practicing. It's all coming together for us.
Yeah. And Killian, obviously, I'm so pleased to see you on a DCL track again. You were with us for many years in the past. We haven't seen you for a little while, but here you go. Back with Cyclone. You must be feeling like you've joined a good team, but we want to point out you didn't just turn up because it's an IRL race. You've been on the team for a while.
Yeah, I'm in the team since 2 months. I joined them. I'm really happy to be in Cyclones. They're all my friends, and yeah, that's a really nice team. We are at the good level. We are here for the win, and that's it.
Yeah, and you've got every right to be confident about it. You've finished Split 3 undefeated. You finished Split 2 undefeated. You won. On and on we go. It's like you've been in the DCL winning for years, and yet I always like to remind people this team only started last year.
Yeah, we've been working really hard to earn this.
Yeah. So real life race on this track, short but tight, 5 laps. You feel good?
I feel very good. Watching Killian, actually, he's the one who is showing me how to do this track and take it really good. But yeah,
a lot of people are a bit scared of you.
Yeah, I know. It's real life racing. It's not same, man. It's all about consistency, pressure, and managing. So I'm thinking we're both good at both, at everything. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. We might well be making them 3-time split champions. And then there's a super final to fight over later on this year. But for today, Cyclone coming for their 3rd title in 24. SDT, Spain drone team, here on our track for DCL Split 3. We have the awesome and ever smiling Red Sheep, and we have Silvio, the captain of the team as well. Silvio, we've got the real life challenge here. How are you feeling about it?
Feeling pretty excited. Finally coming back to new races, new locations, in real life, seeing like everyone else. Feeling super happy about it, yeah.
And it is very exciting when we all get together as well, isn't it? I'm a big fan of yours, Red Sheep. I love you. You're always smiling, just like this. Are you happy? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you going to send it and go really fast?
Da.
I know
Yes.
you are. Indeed. Was it hard to pick a team to come here?
Some people were busy, so we were like, it was a little bit hard.
Yeah.
But Red Sheep is a good pilot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I like him. He's happy always, cheering the team up.
I've seen you, I've commentated on you two as a pair a number of times on the episodes leading up to this. You've probably heard me saying how happy I am about you smiling and celebrating and how good you've been kind of cheering him on as well.
Yeah, he's always like the happy pilot in the team. It's perfect to have him. Yeah.
And not just here because he's so smiley, but really good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
And he's always in the trainings. He's doing great, to be honest. Yeah.
So can you get the Split 3 title? It's been nearly, but not quite in Split 1 and 2.
It's not been great. The last one, the 2 last races were kind of nice.
Yeah.
We are happy about it.
Okay.
We are progressing slowly with new pilots. So I think we are doing great.
Yeah.
Developing the team, training, coming back to,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
we are happy about it.
Yeah.
I hope we will do great today. And let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, you've been in the grand finals, just pipped at the end.
Yeah.
Silvio, Red Sheep, good luck when we'll be racing around here soon.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, Stocky here from DCL. Today we are in the area of the Split 3 finals in Abu Dhabi in our first physical race into our league for a long time. And I'm responsible for all this around me. Of course, not only me, because there's a huge team behind to get that done. The track itself is going to be like really technical focused. We are going to have like a 45-degree drop-down gate for the pilots. This is going to be like hopefully a bit of a challenge for them, and definitely it's going to look pretty awesome. And besides that, we're going to have like our old DCL gates within the track, and also like one additional A-Trail DCL gate from our AI challenge, and the crash gate is back again for the finals. So yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty cool track. In total, we expect the track to be like around about 12 seconds, 1 lap. So let's see how fast the pilots are going to be and if they manage to get even underneath those 12 seconds. So the setting, the environment you can see around me is not final yet. So we're going to have like way less light. It's going to be like some kind of a night track, having a nice LED line on the floor with some spacey feelings on the edge around. So yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool, and let's see how it's going to work out. And basically that's it, all about our Split 3 finals track in Abu Dhabi. And now, follow me, I'll show you the track.
Stocky's up from racing on his chair through the A to RL gate left-hand turn, top of both of these gates and duck and go underneath both of them. That's very unusual. Round here in the left-hand descending ladder, here comes a 45-degree dive gate. You go under this gate and back through the top of it, and then you do a double split S here. Ready? That's 1 lap. We're doing 5. It's quick, isn't it? Start of our first race of the Split 3 finals for 2024. Cyclone Racing from America against Spain Drone Team. A one-on-one is how we're going to start things off. J-Box from Cyclone is going to take on Silvio from SDT. And this is it. We get it underway with Silvio from SDT in the green drone overtaken on the first turn by J-Box, who's getting away from him for Cyclone Racing. Into our ladder, downwards, beautifully flown by J-Box. Silvio just a little bit slower. He's into the dive gate, whereas Cyclone's J-Box is just heading up to start lap number 2 now, and he crosses the line in a time of 14.2, which is strongly thrown, and 2.4 seconds ahead of Silvio. He's got a little bit of catching up to do already as he's trying to complete that ladder down and makes it now. While he is going through the dive gate like it's not even there, we've got a third lap underway for Cyclone's J-Box, who's done it in less than 14 seconds. A 13.6 is one of the quickest times we've seen on this track. So when we get to race time, it's time for J-Box to come alive as he finishes the split S's and lap number 3. He continues now through the 180s of Gemfan, and Fox here goes around the back of A2RL for the ladder, and he will go one way and Silvio will go the opposite direction as there's now about half a lap between the two of them. Cyclone's J-Box to the line. He's improved again. 13.5 is a brilliant lap time as he flies his purple drone brilliantly now through the A2RL ladder. And this is a strong performance from Cyclone. These teams have raced each other in many grand finals, but the first one of the day in our first 1v1 is comfortably won by J-Box. Silvio is just going to bring it round the final turn now, and he comes safely through and will land next to J-Box just ahead of our crash gate, awaiting them later on. Warm applause here. 10 seconds, 9.5 if you want a little bit more precision. 9.5 between them at the end. J-Box getting Split 3's final underway in style. And now we will meet the other members of their team. For Cyclone, it's the return of Kylian Rousseau from France. And on the other side is the brilliant 9-year-old Red Sheep, who is a fantastic pilot for SDT, always smiling. I love him. You can see how quick he is as well. That is a heck of a start for Dark X, Kylian Rousseau. But Red Sheep not too far behind him, going to need a bit more pace though, as Red Sheep is flying cleanly, very low to the ground there, as he goes around the A2RL ladder and heads downwards. Meanwhile, Kylian is already on to lap number 2 in a time of 13.7, which is a brilliant first lap, and we're going to get a bit of close air action very soon. Red Sheep is just coming around the end of his first lap now. Confident pilots can fly a little bit quicker than this. We saw it in group qualifying and practice earlier on. He is chasing down into the ladder. I thought it was coming. Here goes Dark X just holding back a little bit. That is truly professional racing and experience there, as Dark X could have blasted through that ladder, but it would have been really close for both pilots and nobody wants to crash. Dark X is the next one on to lap number 3. He commands his way through Gemfan, and Fox Aaron is already in the ladder in the far end, whereas Red Sheep is crossing the line now. That's 2 laps for SDT. Cyclone are almost about to start lap 4. There he goes. Kylian charging through Gemfan. Fox here underneath that. Surely not about to go past him through the ladder again. It was so close. Dark X coming up now through the last parts has got past Red Sheep in a safe spot on the track. That was smart professional flying, and Dark X with really good times. 13.3 as well. The other laps not as quick as we saw in the first run so far. Red Sheep keeps it going, strongly flying now on his next lap. Dark X is done in a time of 1:15. Red Sheep is onto his 5th lap just now. Lap times for him, just over 20 seconds. He can get comfortably quicker than that, but here at race time, when it really matters, very important what you've got to do, and you've just seen your teammate Silvio come in second. Red Sheep is going to come in second here, but an important run to get clean, and he does. Red Sheep saving himself a bit of a walk to pick it up as he parks it just in front of the pilot area. Red Sheep with a great flight, just under 2 minutes, but Dark X very, very quick and a real threat for everybody. So those are our 1v1 races, and now we will put all 4 of those pilots together in a 2v2, our big heats here at Split 3 finals. J-Box and Dark X for Cyclone, Silvio and Red Sheep for SDT, but they keep meeting in our finals, although usually it's in the grand final. These teams have faced off in Split 1 and Split 2, and Cyclone have always been the ones who come out on top right at the end, making them the Split 1 champions and the Split 2 champions. It's unusual for them to be meeting in our first races. That's virtue of the fact that SDT have, for the first time in 2024, finished a split in 4th place. So our starting blocks start to light up. In the green for SDT and the purple, Cyclone Racing. So we saw a great battle from Silvio earlier. We saw Red Sheep getting a first side to lap in. Now we need to get underway, and we go Cyclone SDT, over the line. But now SDT are pushing amongst the Cyclone pilots, and it is getting a little bit stretched out in front, but second and third is looking pretty close. The first one coming to the line, it is, of course, Dark X from Cyclone in a time of 13.4. And this race suddenly goes a bit quieter as Barely Racing are one-on-one drones between Dark X and Red Sheep, the pilots who took part in the second matchup between them, as J-Box is down on the far side of the track in front of the dive gate, and Silvio is in the netting, way off of course, on the start of lap number 2. So Red Sheep with a little bit of catching up to do, and he's such a brilliant pilot. Come on, Red Sheep! I hear people yelling for him as he starts to push under the ladder, out of that, and is moving through the dive gate while Kylian Rousseau is holding the throttle a little bit back. He's flying cleanly, not the quickest we've seen him, but he doesn't need to do it. He's got 3 laps in, he needs to get the 5. Dark X out of block trade through the double split S now, goes around the pylon, moves on to his final lap. Red Sheep almost a lap behind Dark X again, but it's really important that he finishes as he goes through the DCL, the game, and the double split S. He'll come across the line and start lap number 5. Kylian won't catch him this time, but Kylian will go for 5 laps in a time of 1:28, which is quite a bit slower than we saw him doing earlier, but that's how you secure 4 points for your team. And this is how you secure 3 more if you're Red Sheep for SDT. Making it to the end.
I was like this, and just like...
Cyclone Racing get the first win in the Split 3 finals. Now that we've seen a race, let's find out a little bit more how it works behind the scenes.
So I'm Elliot, I'm part of the race administration team here with DCL. So I get involved with setting up all of the track equipment and a lot of the equipment that we use to do the timing and run all the races, basically, to try and get it as smooth as possible. Besides setting up just the gates and the track equipment that you can see behind us, we have to set up a lot of audio and visual equipment. So this is to bring all the drone feeds in so we can see what's happening, do all the judging of the pilots. So we run a lot of miles and miles of cabling around the track to make sure that we have all the connections to the cameras we need, all the connections to the timing equipment, to make sure that we can get the pilots up and flying. So for this event, we've tried to keep the track as technical as we can. This is just to keep the speed of the pilots down because we're indoors. So indoors is very tricky situations with RF. So we're going to see what the pilots' feeds are like soon when we do some testing. But yeah, trying to keep the speed down, keep it as technical as possible to give the pilots a chance to get as much airtime as possible. So later on, we're going to turn all the lights off. The track's all going to be lit up with LEDs, so that's going to look really cool in the dark. It's been really impressive to watch the teams here at the AgNet setting up all this for us for this event. And when they finally put all the netting and everything up and all the fabric round, it's really made a massive difference to the space that we're going to be flying in. The track is 10 meters high, with 40 meters long, 40 meters wide, so that we've got enough space for the drones to go over the top of the gates. We've got around 1,000 meters of cabling around the track, so that's all the power cables that are going out to the gates. So these are inflatable gates, the massive inflatable gates that we've got, and then also all the cabling that's going out to the timers, cameras. We're going to take a load of inputs into our equipment here, get around 8 feeds from the drones. We've got 4 pilots flying together here, and we've also got track cameras to make sure drones are going through the gates and make sure that when our time equipment does go off, it is accurate. So we've got timers on the crash gate at the end, and also cameras on the flash gate at the end to see it going into the crash gate.
Raiden Racing are here. This is our track. We're on it. Drones are ready to fly it as our battle for Split 3 gets underway very, very soon. We got Longcat and IQ0. Longcat, it is good to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you for a while in the DCL and in other travels as well. Welcome back to our real life racing. Isn't it exciting? You ready?
Oh yeah, of course I couldn't miss out on this. It's been 5 years since we did an IRL race, and when I heard we were doing IRL, I had to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got IQ0, who we've seen during Split 3 as well. So you must be excited to push hard now for the end of the split.
Yeah, I'm really excited, especially with real life drones. Like, pushing on this track is so much fun, and it's just like the carnage you can do on this track is insane.
It is a challenge, and we haven't had very long on it, of course. But it's mostly black and yellow, which, you know, it feels like colours you might be at home with.
Oh yeah, it's our track.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Right?
Have you put a lot of sim time in on this track as well, or do you prefer, since you're going to race it for real life, do you prefer not to sim it?
I struggle like maintaining muscle memory, so simulator practice is like good for me to keep my hands warm, just get used to moving the sticks around. We only really have the track here to fly on the simulator, so I've put in the hours, maybe not hours, maybe like 45 minutes on the track so far, but compared to other pilots, I've probably done a fair bit of simulator flying here, yeah.
You haven't had a title for a while, just gonna say that. 2021 world champions, 2022 two-time world champions. 23. Somebody else. Split 1, oh, that was Cyclone. Split 2 was also Cyclone. You haven't been in the finals, the grand finals of a finals even. What happens now?
Hopefully we can change that this time. The other teams have been very strong this year, and hopefully we can do good this time and bring it back.
You feeling confident?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. Not gonna lie, Cyclone's looking pretty insane at this event with Killian and J-Box, both amazing IRL pilots. They definitely brought out their IRL racing guns for this event. Not the common like Yayus we see dominating on the simulator, but it's gonna be challenging, yeah.
These guys, though, are going to try and bring it for Raiden. Good luck.
I should probably say that is better than me IRL to begin with.
It's our guys from Quad Force 1. This time we've got Screecher and QTFPV coming to try and get this title for the Split 3 finals. Screecher, welcome back. It's been a little while since we've had you in the DCL, but now we find ourselves in Abu Dhabi, a real-life track. You're with your American buddies. You feel good?
Feeling great. The quads feel great. The track is really fun to fly. I'm ready for a fun weekend.
Ready to go. Look at that. That was very quick. QT, a little bit more laid back usually. I think. Are you happy with things? I know practice today seems to have been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, practice went well. Yesterday was a little bit rough getting things going, but yeah, practice day was good. This track is pretty fun. I agree with Screecher. Yeah, the quads are flying good. So yeah, I think we got a good chance. Yeah.
And I guess you've been watching how your buddies have been getting on and how the team's been progressing and nearly winning the big title last year in Alula. And Split 1 and Split 2, you know, a little bit of a struggle at times, but Split 3 feels like it's gone much better. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do. Yep. I'm really happy with how the race is going so far. It's definitely been really fun. Personally, probably up there in some of my favorite races for sure. Been flying a lot already, even just in practice. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah.
And you feel better about your performance this year? This split, I think you probably are.
Yeah. I've slowly been working up the skill. So I mean, never gonna stop, obviously. But I felt pretty good with how things are progressing. So yeah.
It's fair to say you were bold early in practice, getting used to flying this track, Screecher in particular. There's a few holes here. This is our start gate after you come off the blocks. This is the first gate you go through. It's quite narrow. Everybody's here. There's a few holes in it that weren't there when we started, Screecher. Just a few. Kind of exactly the same size as yours, isn't it?
I don't know how. Coincidentally, it's the same size as my drone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun one.
It was a fun one. We'll see if there's any more big accidents by anyone who might be called Screecher or not. There have been other crashes, but that's a particularly good one. Maybe make it to the end in first place.
We'll see what we can do.
I think you've got really good chances. Quad Force 1, good luck, guys.
Thank you, man.
This is the first battle between the teams who came second and third in Split 3. They are the teams of Raiden Racing, the former two-time world champions, and Quad Force 1. Racing for Raiden here, as we welcome the return of the best beard in drone racing, belonging to Longcat. On the American side of Quad Force 1, QTFPV is battling for them, as we've seen him doing so much this season. And we go. Quickly underway with Longcat, just a marginally better start than QTFPV, and they were very tight as they go through the Gemfan and Foxeer pairs, and out of the ladder turn in the far corner, QT was in front of Longcat, but it might not stay that way for long. Longcat goes a bit higher over the double split S, and is charging onto lap number 2 with only 5/10 of a second, if that, between the two of them, and it's really tight underneath the ladder, almost coming together 2 if not 3 times now as towards the lap number 2's finish. We charge on to lap number 3. QTFPV still hanging on to Longcat. Underneath the pairings before the A2RL ladder sees QTFPV go far too high. Saved it, brought it back through again, but that's given Longcat a chance to stretch. QTFPV through the double split S. Now he's over the line, but as he reaches that, he is 1.9 seconds behind Longcat, who's completing the A2RL ladder, and as he goes out of it, you'll have seen QTFPV coming in, down the split S, out of DCL the game. Longcat across the line, so far so good and getting away. QTFPV has one more lap to catch him. The lap times are crumbling. These are the best by far for Longcat. Having seen him in practice earlier on, he is back in the DCL. He's racing in real life. He's crossing a line, and he's getting 4 points for Raiden. QTFPV comes through in second. Almost 5 seconds between them at the end, but an awful lot closer all the way back in lap 1 and 2.
Yes.
While they walk off the track, IQ0 is here for Raiden, and Screecher getting ready to fly for Quad Force 1, and Long XL from the China Dragons is doing what Long XL from the China Dragons does. He's just enjoying himself everywhere he is. I see you dancing, Long XL. All right, quads are on blocks. Second race between Raiden and Quad Force 1 underway with IQ0 ahead of Screecher, and now IQ0 having Abu Dhabi to himself. Screecher is down but recovered and back in the race, and he completes the double split S and completes lap number 1 with a lot of catching up to do. 5.4 seconds between Screecher and IQ0, but Screecher is down again. And IQ0 is going to get really close to him in the descending ladder, that left-hand looping ladder, and out of the dive gate, IQ0 goes past Screecher as Screecher has flopped to the ground for the 3rd time. It might be a TKO for Screecher's drone there, 3 times down, and it doesn't look like it can take any more right now. That is a surprise. IQ0 from Raiden has to finish the race in order to pick up the 4 points for winning it. And you have to finish the race to score the others. So I think Screecher is going to miss out on the 3 points he would have got for second, unless he gets back into the air and continues flying. And there's no timing out on this. If you're flying, you can finish the race. IQ0 so far with a 14.3, a 14.5, 15, a 15.3, and he finishes with a 15.247 lap time. 5 laps, all under 16 seconds, a couple of them under 15. That is a strong performance for Raiden again.
I'm kidding.
Now we have to see how these 4 pilots battle all together. But Raiden have a bit more of an advantage here, as they are 8 points to 3 up, because Screecher from Quad Force 1 didn't finish his race. So these 4 pilots, it's Longcat and IQ0, the winners of their 1v1s there for Raiden, against Quad Force 1 with QTFPV and Screecher. We're underway with both of the drones from Raiden with one of the American pilots between them and the other one just getting a little bit slower into the action. And down bumps one of the drones for Raiden, but IQ 0 is comfortably out in the lead. The one that bounced was Longcats, but he's now flying out and starting lap number 2 between the pair of them. Screecher up in a second place. QTFPV is in a bit of trouble. He's down, surely not out from there as his drone safely landed, but he hasn't finished his first lap yet. Yes, he is. His goggles off, I believe. Quentin, his goggles off. QT's drone is done. Quad Force 1 can't do anything about this. Raiden will be flying with the 2 they've got. And Screecher was gonna basically has a chance here to get some good stick time on practice, but also a chance to mix it up a little bit. As no matter what, Quad Force 1 can't do much about Raiden's lead. So he goes through the double split S, and Screecher goes on to his final lap, trying to catch IQ 0, but there are 4 seconds between the pair of them. IQ 0 is across the line. Longcat is still going around his final lap. Screecher finishes nearly 3 seconds behind IQ 0, so we caught him a bit towards the end. Here comes Longcat now, who is finishing his lap safely. Drops it down to a big cheer from the Raiden fans as he is in third. QTFPV doesn't pick up any points. That'll make it 6 more points for Raiden. Quad Force 1 will just get the 3 that Screecher didn't get in his 1v1 as he crashed that, but he got 3 here. So Quad Force 1 are going to lose quite heavily to Raiden, but again, they aren't eliminated yet. Winners of match 2, it's Raiden Racing. While we're here in Abu Dhabi working with A2RL, let's find out more about our STEM program.
Hello, I'm Michela Congiu and I'm a project manager for the Drone Champions League, and I'm very excited as we'll be launching the first drone STEM program in collaboration with Aspire in the UAE. What we'll be teaching students from high schools all over the Emirates, from 14 to 17 years old, everything about drone technology. So from aerodynamics, propulsion system, flying safety, till building your own drones and then flying them. The program will run over 3 months, and it will be divided in more theoretical classes and more practical classes. As being a STEM program, it will be fun and interactive, and there will be different activities, and it will be taught both in person and online. So there is this hybrid element of the program. Every 2 kids, they will get a STEM kit that they will build themselves, and then they will learn how to fly the same kit. It's a 30-gram drone, it's super safe, the perfect tool to start learning about drone technology. At the end of the program, all the students will get a certificate of participations, and then for the ones who want to, they will be able to take a further exam, at the end of which, if they pass, they will get a Trusted Operator Program certification, which is an internationally recognized certificate, and which is very good for the future careers, for the curriculum. And we want to give the chance to the students to fall in love with this sport, with the technology of drones, and understand that it's not just doesn't just stop there. It can become your future career. It can turn into coding, or it can become an engineering career, for example.
The China Dragons with us for the Split 3 finals. We have Long XL and we have Zapita. Great to see you both here. Ni hao. We will be looking forward to seeing you battling. Long XL, we're in the middle of our real life track. What do you think of it?
This track was amazing things, and this is our first time fly in the dark environment. And it was really cool. And it's my first time for the real life DCL race. It was amazing. Everyone was perfect.
And it has been so good to get a real life race as well. And I know you're very good on real life races. Zapita, I know you are amazing in real life races. He was runner up in an enormous Chinese race only a few weeks ago. And you were walking around a stadium and a huge Chinese crowd were cheering for you. Can you ask Zapita what it felt like to have all that audience cheering for him?
OK， 就是你在你世锦赛拿到第2名的时候，所有人为你欢呼，你是有什么样的一个感觉？你有什么样的感觉？就是当所有人为你欢呼的时候，就所有人为你感到激动。你说，你说。
就是感觉自己拿到的世界第2，非常荣幸。
he feels really good because he's only flight 2 years and this is his first time to get the second around the world.
Yes.
So he's feel really proud because this is the best record for our Chinese pilot in the around the world. Yeah.
It was absolutely incredible. I was honoured to be there, and now we have you at our DCL race. We've seen you on the simulator and how good you are. Long XL, how do you feel about this? You'd say real life racing is better for you than Sims, wouldn't you?
Yes, of course, because I'm not good at the Sims. So this is the reason why you can't see me in the sim race.
Okay.
But the Peter is really good at the sim race. He's really fast.
Tell him.
他说，就是你觉得这个就线下的比赛和线上的比赛有什么区别，以及觉得哪个会更好一点？
我觉得线下的比赛会好一点，然后线上和线下的区别就是，线下能从，就是线下可以和很多飞手们一起比赛。
He feels like he prefer like the offline race, like in the real life, because in the real life we can to meet each other pilot and we can play with each other and have fun with it. Yeah.
I know you're both really fun. I look forward to seeing you racing. Good luck against the Wildcard team.
Thanks.
Welcome to Abu Dhabi.
Thanks.
Can't wait to see the China Dragons.
Yeah.
Here on the track for the DCL Split 3 finals, I'm with our Wildcard team. 3 times in a year, we've had the Wildcard team make it to our Split finals, which is something we've never had in previous years. This time, slightly different lineup. We've got West FPV. We have Chagakva as well. West, we haven't met until we both got here in Abu Dhabi. I've commentated on you a few times, but nice to meet you in person. And a real-life track is your challenge. How do you feel about that?
I love being able to fly DCL in the real life. I do a lot of real life racing and also sim, but I really love just being able to get out here and fly the real drones.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
And Chagakva, we've had you at one of our events before, back at the Dubai Esports Festival. Now you're here for the Wildcard team again. Then you were on your own. This time we have 2 pilots from each team. What's it like with West alongside you?
I like it. I'm confident around him. I know what he can do. I don't know. I feel confident around him, and yeah.
And I guess, could I suggest pressure is off of you guys a little bit? You've made it to the split finals. You are in the elimination zones. Obviously, that's a difficult place to start. Does it feel like, well, we're just going to go and give this a go, or do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you?
We're pretty low pressure right now because I know we're the underdogs and we're just going to go and have fun and see kind of what happens.
You have China Dragons again.
Yeah, in practice they had a little bit of trouble, so we'll see exactly how it turns out in the real life race.
Elimination zone, can't afford to lose a race on the points, and we're going to be doing one-on-one racing as well. How do you feel about that?
That's not a problem.
Not a problem. That's what we want. Well, good luck, guys. We want to see how far you can get. But well done for making it again to Split 3. So now we'll go to our 3rd matchup for some more 1v1s. This time we're going to feature the teams who were 5th and 6th out of the regular season. 5th place were the China Dragons, team who've been with the DCL for a very, very long time. 6th place is the DCL Wildcard Team. They are a team, every year we give some new pilots a chance to show what they can do to the professional teams. The Wildcard Team have made it to the Split 3 finals. We're going to start off with Chagakva from the Wildcard Team against Long XL from China Dragons. Now he's here racing for the China Dragons, been on the roster for a while, gets to compete in a real-life race for the DCL. The multicolored drone of the Wildcard Team started off strongly, just got passed by Long XL. And Chagakva bounces it off the ground around the A2RL ladder, saves it, nicely done, knew when to throttle it and get it out of there, and he continues flying, but he's a few gates behind Long XL now, who's on a 15.7 first lap, not the quickest we've seen. Chagakva coming over that with a 20.5, so a big gap between them at the moment. Chagakva very high on that ladder the second time, the one that claimed him on the first, but he's fine here. A little bit of a correction for Long XL as he crossed through the start-finish timing gate, and Chagakva going for the double split S for the Wildcard Team in the red and green for this race is just about making it on to lap number 3 after being a little bit slow about the double split S. Long XL attacks that, no problem. He's out onto his next lap already. Broken 15.7, 15.5. Can he get under 15 seconds like a couple of our pilots can do, or is he just playing it a little bit safe because he knows he's got a bit of a margin of the lead right now. He is going through the double split S at DCL the game. Long XL onto the final lap. Really good entrance there. He's about 5 seconds off the pace of some of our pilots going into lap number 5. Here comes Chagakva. He goes through it now. He's still maybe slightly further behind than he was. Quite a big amount of catch up, but Chagakva's probably thinking right now the finish is what he needs as Long XL goes and gets the win. Chagakva through the split S, wipes his lights out, is not completed yet. He's gone through the top of it. I don't think he's made it through the second half of the final double split S. He's on the ground. He is out. He's staying there. And Chagakva, unfortunately, doesn't finish his 1v1. Chagakva is out of that race. Was our winner, though. Long XL from the China Dragons. For West FPV, the wildcard team, and for Zepita on China Dragons, here's their 1v1. 4 points to the winner, 3 points for second. They were a little bit between China Dragons and the wildcard team at Split 1. There was a long way between them in Split 2's finals. And here, one through the bottom of the ladder, one through the top. The wildcards, West FPV, one of the strongest, maybe the strongest pilot on the wildcard team for 2024, is somewhat ahead of Zepita for now. And Zepita, the brilliant Yi Bishe from China, runner-up in the FAI Championship in Hangzhou recently, goes into the lead. He comes out of the block trade gate into the double split S, and now West FPV needs to show some of that speed that he had as 2 laps are down for him now, and Zepita is quite a long way ahead. They cross the line onto lap number 2 with 6 seconds between them, and West FPV in his efforts to catch up is down and in a curtain netting and probably staying there. So Zepita, who is just 12 years of age for the China Dragons and the runner-up in the FAI Championship for 2024, he continues flying now, going through the block trade gate with a couple of laps done and a couple of laps still to go. Here's the DCL double split S, and now across the start-finish line for that final lap. He's got times around 16, 15 or 19 seconds. The last one, clearly he doesn't need to push it now. There's the downwards ladder through the DCL dive gate that you have to go over the top of. There's the reverse split S going up through block trade and then a double split S out of DCL the game. And Zepita for the China Dragons. This young phenomenon from China is absolutely delighted as he gets his first win in the Split 3 finals.
Well done, little one. Well done. Next time you won't be so lucky, though.
You're so lucky.
That's for you, Ronnie. Me and you are over. No Christmas card.
Great.
For this 2v2 matchup, we're going to have Long XL and Zepita from the China Dragons, who both won their races earlier, against the wildcard pilots of Chagakva and West. So West, who started so strongly in his 1v1, and probably felt a bit disappointed that he ended up down on the ground. He gets this battle well and truly underway, charged out of the blocks, easily the first one to the line, but no more. West puts a hole in the start-finish timing gate that we've had a few in during practice. We got a bigger one now, and West was on such a great time for his first lap. 15.2 for West is a lap time he'd love to have repeated 4 more times, but instead his teammate Chagakva, the one still flying for the wildcard team. Ahead of him, Long XL moving on to their 4th lap already and breaking 15 seconds to do so. Chagakva is not hanging around a 15.4, a 15.2, a 15.4. He's really consistent. Can he find a bit more with the 2 laps he's got left? In 3rd place, it's young Zepita, flying very strongly, getting solid lap times in. His first one was a little bit slow, which sees why he is down in 3rd, but moving up into 2nd. Zepita now pushing past Chagakva. Bit more work to do, not quite there yet. Chagakva brings it down in the middle of the track. Zepita brings it home. He gets 2 points. Chagakva gets 3. Long XL finishes in one of the best times we've seen today, the 3rd fastest in this round. The The quickest time in this round is a 1 minute 12 for 5 laps, and that was IQ 0 from Raiden. We'll find out how Chug Akvar and West FPV are feeling. They're the first ones to be eliminated. They're going to be out in 6th place. As in Split 1 and Split 2's finals, China Dragons are the winners of our first knockout match. Our 6th place team for the Split 3 finals, they are our DCL Wildcard Team, but it's been a year in which they've made it to every one of our Split 3, Split 2, Split 1 finals and battling there. Good to see you both, guys. I guess you're feeling a bit disappointed that you can't fly in this anymore, although perhaps you were thinking the China Dragons were going to be a tough challenge anyway.
Yeah, we knew China Dragons were going to be a pretty tough challenge for us, and we just went out there and gave it our all against them, and they seemed to be more consistent than us and faster, but we gave it our all.
Yeah, you had trouble in your 1v1s. You both crashed during your 1v1s. I was particularly surprised to see your drone down at the end because you literally had that last bit of the second part of the Split S to finish. And I thought you hit that gate quite clean. Why couldn't you get it back and finish that final lap?
I had some battery issues. I wasn't quite smooth enough on the throttle maybe. And then that caused the battery to drain even faster. So I guess I was stressed and nervous, and yeah.
You went into that battle thinking the points difference is too big. Having had you both crash in your 1v1s, you couldn't catch China Dragons. So it felt like, well, this is an opportunity for you to send it and see what you can actually do. Did it feel like that for you, or was it more stressful being in a race with so many pilots?
No, you hit it exactly on. Our mindset going into that last race was just to send the drone and see what happens, and that's what I did. So. Yeah. And mission was complete. I sent the drone into the gate, so.
It's a stylish way to end. Everybody likes a good, loud finish. But I was just mentioning to you just before we started recording this, so you got the 4th quickest time for 5 laps out of everybody in the 2v2s. And behind some, pilots from Raiden, from Quad Force 1, from the China Dragons, you got the 4th quickest time, and you weren't even sure you'd finished 5 laps.
No, I thought I had the same battery issues. I thought I was still nervous, but apparently I was faster than I thought. Yeah.
Chug, you've seen these teams a few times. Who's winning today, do you think?
It's going to be really close between Raiden and Cyclone. And I'm super excited to watch the entire race.
Well, sad that you're out, but pressure's off. Now you can enjoy watching some racing, and we'll find out who wins it soon. But we know 6th place, but a really good season to get there, and a great set of races here, and some particularly fast and loud finishes for Chug Akvar and Wes. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Long XL and Zapita, can they win again? They're against Silvio and Red Sheep. So SDT now will go up against the China Dragons. It's going to begin. Starting afresh on 0 points each. Long XL for the China Dragons against Silvio from SDT. Silvio versus Long XL. Silvio in green, Long XL momentarily in front of him. Gets side by side, gets in front of him again. Stays there as they exit out of the A2RL ladder for the first lap. And getting a little bit lost on the side of Long Qingpeng. That's Long XL from China Dragons, who starts the second lap a little bit behind Silvio, who was there a lot quicker for a while, but bumps off of the Gemfan gate and is only now completing that first 180, and there's the underneath one. He goes through the ladder of the A2RL gate, and he's some way behind Silvio, who's very hard to catch. On to lap number 3 for Silvio. His time's a 17.5 and a 17.1. That's not race pace yet. Long XL's times could improve. Silvio with the quickest single lap between these two pilots, but needs many more of them. Long XL, though, not quite so far ahead as he was. He's on to his 4th lap. Silvio starts that lap, only 1.7 seconds behind him. One goes out of the ladder, one goes round the top. Silvio gaining on Long XL. Through the double split S they fly. Now they go on to their final lap. The time now, it is exactly 1 second between Silvio and the current leader. That's Long XL, and Silvio hits the A2RL ladder as he goes around the top section of it, and he won't be coming out of the bottom. Instead, Long XL gets another win for China Dragons, and Silvio lets a few points slide as he doesn't finish, and that is a big upset and possibly a big difference to change for SDT. Because not finishing means he doesn't get the 3 points that would have come with it, and that is quite a lot to be making up in the 2v2 race. But before then, we enjoy these two future legends. It's going to be the 12 years old Zepita from China against the 9-year-old Red Sheep for SDT. Both of them launching at exactly the same time, and Red Sheep just tiny bit behind Zepita as they made that first pylon turn, and now both of them head to the 8RL ladder. Descending left hand, down they go. Both of them cleanly out of that. Zepita currently in the lead. Red Sheep very high on the dive gate, very high on the double split S as well, playing it a little bit safe, but is in nearly into the DCL finish gate about at least an hour too soon. He's still flying though. He just skimmed through the timing gate that sent him onto the ground and nearly bounced from that into the big DCL gate that awaits our races later on. Doesn't need to be in that yet. Does need to be in this battle. And Red Sheep cartwheels on the far corner of the track after the block trade reverse split S, which is now being flown by China Dragon Zepita, and he'll complete his next lap and moves on to lap number 4. He's managed to get a 16.4, a 16.8. He can slack off a bit as he did on lap 3 with a 17.6. But that is quick and confident for Zepita on the downwards ladder at the A2RL gate. He's again a bit high over the double split S, but his second turn in that was beautiful. Zepita moves up, 17.1, fourth lap. He's onto his 5th. He completes the pairing. He goes for the A2RL descender. He completes that and the DCL leaning dive gate. He's out of the block trade. Here's the split S. Here's the final corner. Here is 4 more points for the China Dragons. And Zepita beats out Red Sheep in their second battle and leaves the stage as he entered it with a giant smile on his face. So now we're going to carry on with the 2v2 for this battle. So China Dragons on the brink of what many people would say would be an upset here in Split 3 finals, as they've always gone out in 5th place. And in the previous finals for 2024, SDT have always made it to the grand final where they've lost in 2nd, and sometimes in a very close contest there as well. Those fortunes about to be reversed, and sadly for Spain drone team, only Silvio has a drone remaining for SDT, or rather the team only has 1 drone remaining, and Silvio is going to fly it in this 2v2, which sadly means Red Sheep won't be contesting in this 2v2. It's for Silvio to do what he can against China Dragons. So Long XL and Zepita already come into this with a massive points advantage, so Silvio is battling in this to show that SDT are not going to leave this thing quietly, and he takes the lead and is still there in front of Long XL and Zepita. Zepita just coming out of the final gates now onto the second lap already with all of the pilots now. It is Silvio who's in the lead, then Long XL. Zepita in 3rd. He was just about 2 seconds behind his teammate Long XL at the start of the lap that he's on. And now there's a bit of a bigger gap there. Zepita in 3rd. Long XL a couple of seconds ahead of him still. Silvio only 6/10 ahead of Long XL as they began this lap. And that gap doesn't look like it's getting any safer for him. Silvio screams on to lap number 4 with a 14.6, not even his quickest time. It wasn't Long XL's quickest lap time either. He charges around, still going, but Silvio is on the ground and back in the air and still flying. Silvio just keeping this thing going onto his final lap. Long XL in it as well. Now Silvio is rolling around as out of the dive gate comes Long XL, who's heading for the line on his final turn, and he gets that done in a time of 1:16, just outside 1:17, and Silvio ends it for SDT by coming to the finish gate with such speed on a brilliant final turn, clipping the inside of that gate as he was just a little bit too low. And that drone said, "Thank you, Abu Dhabi, and good night," as the green lights go, and SDT are eliminated in 5th and noisily for Silvio. Match 4's winners, the China Dragons. They're still in this. SDT, 5th place, not what you wanted. Of course, no team wants to go out in 5th, and that's a real shock to everybody. Trouble with the kit, though, running out of stuff you can fly.
Yep, we had some technical problems. We didn't got the result we were aiming for. We are happy, but you know we have to get used to in real life racing again. So it's a good start. We are looking for the next ones. Yeah.
Red Sheep, you were saying earlier on how happy you are. Still going to smile for me? Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. We know how amazing you are. You okay?
Yes. I'm sad for I lost for China Dragons. I sad for it's not yes.
You're still amazing. You're of course brilliant as the captain. This won't be the end of STT. We know you can do much better than you've done today, but it's been really great watching you both. Commiserations on 5th place. China Dragons, Long XL and Zapita to take on QT FPV and Screecher of Quad Force 1. So the fight continues for our China Dragons. They're into the final 4 for the Split 3 final. Now they have to contend with Quad Force 1, and the American QT FPV is up against Long XL. QT FPV, slightly better start. He's pursued by Long XL, and QT FPV will know from watching earlier how quick the Chinese pilot can be, but Longqing, just on the second part of the A2RL ladder, just clipped it from underneath, kept it flying. That's the kind of reactions and experience he's got, but it wasn't tidy, which means he's got to do the catching again, and he's out of it cleanly on lap number 2. QT FPV goes through the double split S, and there goes Longqing Peng, and as they go across the line to start lap number 3, there is only a 1 second precisely between the two pilots. QT FPV still out in front. Long XL has let him get a little bit further away. QT FPV is coming to the final part of his next lap, and as he moves on to that, Long XL is behind him by nearly 3.5 seconds now. That lap has gone very, very slowly for Long XL, and QT FPV continues his flight. He's finishing lap number 4 now, going through the timing gate, and Long XL is closer than he was on the previous lap, but not like he was earlier. This is your final lap. QT FPV can't play this one safe like we've seen some pilots do. He's up through block trade. He's down through DCL the game. He's home! Quad Force 1 getting 4 points here with QT FPV over Long XL. Long XL very much in that battle during lap number 1. One mistake from him as he was too high exiting the A2RL ladder in the corner of our track. That bounced him. He didn't hit the ground. He kept it flying, but he lost some time and he never quite caught it back up again. So Quad Force 1 with a 4 points lead. Now Zapita needs to close that gap, and Screecher is the pilot he needs to get past. And we've seen from Zapita some pretty consistent, good flying. Screecher, though, despite currently being the 3rd fastest pilot on this track, Screecher might find himself out in front of this one and able to comfortably stay there, but can't play it too safe. I still don't think we've seen the best of Zapita, having seen him in the past, and I don't think we've seen him at maximum speed yet. Final race. Now we have Zapita and Screecher in that order around the ladder, but Zapita went a little bit high. Screecher came in with more speed. Both of them scraped through. There was a little bit of coming together there, and at the other side of the dive gate, they're both on the ground, and one drone returns. It is the Phoenix of the China Dragons. Zapita is back and flying. He's got a long way to go. Hopefully that drone hasn't taken any damage, as he's got to guide it around 4 more laps yet after they were both on such a good start. Now he's just got to keep this flying, and knowing him and how confident he is in high pressure situations like a world final surrounded by Chinese supporters cheering him on in a Chinese stadium a month ago, I think Zapita will be enjoying himself right now. He comes around, crosses the line to start lap number 3. His lap time's nothing like he wants to be showing. A 27.5 was his second lap there. He's around 3rd lap now. This is where he came together with Screecher. Then they both made it to that side of the dive gate, and Screecher was never seen again. Zapita through the split S. There's one half of it and the second. It's a double split S that DCL the game gate, not just one split S where you go through the gate and then double back underneath in the opposite direction. In this one, you double back again. It's 2 of them back to back. There's the dive gate. This is a reverse split S under the block trade gate to come out of it on the higher side, and then 1 and 2. And Zapita completes the DCL the game double split S and he's on to his final lap. His times are so much better. He's just outside 21 seconds. He can go a bit quicker than that, I'm sure, but this is the safe bet that China Dragons needed. In the first race, QTFPV got 4 and Long XL picked up 3 for second. Here, it's 4 points go to China Dragons, with young Zapita collecting them for his team. And sadly for Screecher and Quad Force 1, their fortunes go from a 4-3 lead instead to a 7 points to 4 deficit. And Screecher doesn't get anything there, which means in the 2v2, they're the ones with more to do. Now Long XL and Zapita could find themselves eliminating another team. They've already eliminated the wildcard, which they've done before. They've eliminated SDT, which is a big shock. They might be about to eliminate Quad Force 1, which will see the Americans in 4th place for Split 3, and the China Dragons will be in the top 3. So clean flights needed for the China Dragons and quicker ones needed for the blue team, which is why QTFPV being on the ground already is such a bad sign for them. But he's back and he flies on, and his teammate Screecher is the first one to the line, but yes, now we have Zapita and Long XL trying to chase him down, but they've got a little bit of catching up to do. Screecher is clean and quick right now, and if anything, gaining on his teammate who's in 4th place. Brilliant flying around the ladder for Screecher. That was so smooth. That's about as tight as we've seen it. Going through the dive gate and out of the other side, Zapita was ever so dangerously close on the climb, but he's flying quickly and dangerously. QTFPV is moving on to his 4th lap now. Ahead of him, Zapita in 3rd, Long XL in 2nd, ahead of all of them, and keeping it by some margin. Screecher from Quad Force 1 doing everything he can. He's over 3 seconds between him and the China Dragons, and Screecher now is a winner of this 2v2 in a brilliant time. The 2nd fastest time of anybody on this track goes to Screecher in that race. Zapita comes in 2nd. Then it's Long XL in 3rd. And we watch QTFPV pulling out of that run. He was on his way around to 6th, but 5 laps are done for him. But that's him finishing down in 4th place, which means Quad Force 1 get what they have many times scored during, well, not just this year, but previous years as well. 4 points for Screecher, this time winning the race, but sadly QTFPV just picking up the 1 for being in 4th. That means it's 5 points for them, 5 points for the China Dragons. Nobody gains there. They cancel each other out. And therefore, the China Dragons continue in the Split 3 finals. China Dragons, they continue on the best run we've seen this year. Quad Force 1 get eliminated in 4th place, but showing some real moments of speed and brilliance throughout as well. Screecher, we were saying earlier on about some of the fun crashes you've had, most memorable ones perhaps, but you now have the 2nd fastest time for 5 laps on that track and the 4th fastest. So I guess that makes it a little more bittersweet for you.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that we're eliminated, but I mean, that was a really fun race for me. It definitely felt good. That was the most locked in I felt all week so far, so it felt great for me, but it is unfortunate that we're out now. But I suppose on the bright side, we get to explore Dubai a little bit more.
Or Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, I'm sorry, I forgot where we are.
They're both very nice. You feel free to try either. QTFPV, how are you feeling right now?
Not too bad. I mean, a little bit disappointed. I was hoping we'd win that one, but I mean, the heats we did get a race were really good. I agree. That was some great racing. So I'm not unhappy. So that was a good event.
I don't think I've ever seen you unhappy. I think it's always been big smiles on you as you always look so relaxed. What were your expectations coming here, though? Because it's been a really good split for you guys. This isn't what you wanted, is it?
No, I mean, I was hoping for top 3. I felt like we were really capable of a podium, I believe. But, you know, it is what it is, and whatever happens, happens, unfortunately.
How about the other guys on the team coming here? You must have been discussing the event with them. Were people like, yeah, you know, we've got this. We can be in a final.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit hectic because we had a couple of obviously our faster guys like Mason who couldn't make it. So we just kind of came to do our best. We didn't really have any specific expectations with this race, but obviously me and Spencer were shooting for a top 3. So.
Of course you were, and you know, Quad Force One have had that third place one way or another, usually at the end of a year. Actually, many times. Last year was so much closer to being the overall champions at the end of 2023. For the Split 3 finals, Quad Force One, sadly, are eliminated in 4th place. Commiseration, guys, but the Super Finals are still to come. Who knows? There's more racing going on here at the AdNext Centre. Let's find out about the A2RL and DCL AI Challenge.
I'm Shane Adams, the head of events for the Drone Champions League. I'm also a researcher for drones and designer of the autonomous racing drone we are using. Here at AdNext Arena in Abu Dhabi with the top 17 universities from around the world who are entering for the AI competition, the A2RL Abu Dhabi Autonomous Racing League. Teams are practicing with the drone. They have been here for 1 week where they need to install their software, get used to the drone, see how it flies, and we're basically using stereo camera and an RGB camera to identify where the gate positions are and navigate the course. Teams are trying to set their fastest times, and we want to see what their capabilities are and if they are able to enter the $1 million race next April.
My name is Giuseppe Loianno. I'm a professor in New York University, and I'm part of the A2RL DCL team. I'm involved pretty much in the team's evaluation and in also setting up the competition rules and the entire drone racing track setup. I think really the outcome of this kind of event is not only purely technological, but you're also trying to build an entire ecosystem where team's expertise could be combined in creating an overall league that will basically push forward the development of AI autonomous solutions in the future. Pretty much in this first phase, we really wanted to have the teams together and understand what was really possible. So we really want the teams to get confident with the hardware, with the type of board, with the software stack that they aim to develop, and just show to us what is really possible to basically achieve. So really the goal was to go to these 4 gates in a really slalom type of course. And so it's really challenging, you know, from a perception perspective to once the drone goes through one of the gates to see the following ones. It's completely on the other side. So this poses challenges, you know, on how fast the drone should basically turn and look to the other gate to successfully go through. But this is just the first step. So in the following types of event, we'll actually introduce additional challenges into the track setup, and we would like to extend the track to basically also a 3rd dimension. Right now, if you see, all the gates are basically on the same plane. We would like to have gates, you know, at different levels, so that basically, you know, you can also create more complex type of motions. This is a really cool event. We really look forward to what the team can achieve, and I'm sure that, you know, this will really contribute to bring robotics and AI into the real world and solve a complex problem, from search and rescue to transportation to delivery, and even, if you think about it, in the future, entertainment.
Top 3 teams. We go back to the 2 teams who won their opening encounters here at the Split 3 finals. Cyclone versus Raiden. One of them straight to a grand final. The other team will fight against the China Dragons for the other spot. It's going to be J-Box versus Longcat in the 1v1 between these teams to start things off. So J-Box and Longcat, with J-Box just ahead of Longcat in purple. Longcat in the golden drone for the Raiden Racing team coming through the dive gate. And J-Box just getting a little bit away from him throughout the whole of lap number 1. It's a 13.26 for J-Box compared to a 15.4 for Longcat. They were closer at the beginning. They ended up 2.4 seconds between at the end of that first lap. At the end of lap number 2, it is nearly 3 seconds, and Longcat is on the ground with our first instance of turtle mode here in Abu Dhabi as J-Box continues underneath the Gem Fan and Foxeer pairing of gates and through the ladder as he exits that. He's a whole lap ahead of Longcat, who just surfaced and continues flying. And we've seen how important that is, because Screecher, not finishing his 1v1 against the China Dragons, missed out on 3 points. And if he had finished that race, it would have been a tie between those teams and they'd have raced again. That's why it's so important to finish and get all the points, which J-Box has done in another excellent time. It's a 1:15.6 for the whole race, which I think gives him another time in the top 10. Longcat continues flying, so important to get this home and get the 3 points. Means J-Box will only have outscored them by 1. He goes through the reverse split S of the block trade gate. He dips around through DCL the game, the final corner, and safely home. Another pilot making that extra bit of turn afterwards. Longcat maybe not realizing he's got the 5 laps in. Continuing around on what I think is lap number 6 for Longcat. And going to complete it. Yeah, I think that's 6 laps for Longcat of Raiden Racing. So that first race coming to a little bit of a quiet end with J-Box picking up the 4. Longcat managing to save the 3. So another 1v1 with the other 2 pilots. It's Killian Russo for Cyclone, and it is IQ0 for Raiden. I expect this one to be a bit quicker and a bit more of a tighter battle, and IQ0 gets on with it in second place. As Killian just left him a little bit at the start. Now they go through the reverse before doing the double split S, and Killian starts to pull away. IQ0 crossing the line, 1.3 seconds behind Killian, who is blitzing through the ladder, but so is IQ0, just cleanly underneath it. But when I say cleanly, I mean he didn't hit it. He was extremely close to doing so. Second lap for IQ0 sees him now 3.6 seconds behind. Killian is trying to show us what he can do. He's got a 12 seconds, 0.4 lap on his first and his second, and unbelievably his third lap as well. All 3 of Killian's laps under 12.5 seconds so far. Here comes lap number 4. He does it again. It's a 12.3. It's even quicker. IQ0 had the fastest time on this track prior to this run. Now he comes out of the ladder wildly. IQ0 just about saving it on the 5th lap, whereas Killian destroys it. Killian just set a 1 minute and 3 3.9 seconds lap times on finishing that race. A 1 minute 3.9. That is 7.5 seconds quicker than anybody had flown it. That is absolutely astonishing. Killian was on another level. So we have Raiden on our starting blocks for the first of our 2v2s. Now J-Box and Killian start to get quads onto blocks. In the whole of 2024, the only team who have beaten Cyclone in a single race matchup is Raiden. And they only did it earlier on this year. But the way Killian is flying in particular, and J-Box very strong as well, that's why they're in a 1-2 as everybody spirals beautifully out of the A2RL ladder and tries to catch, if you're orange, the team who are in purple! And it is J-Box who hits the end of the first lap and cartwheels onto the ground. His drone is coming back to him. Nevertheless, Raiden are getting far away from him, but Killian for Cyclone still keeping their 4 points hopes alive as he's out in front. Killian on lap number 3, still putting in better and better lap times. Killian is 500ths outside, going under 12 seconds. Killian comes across the line again, holding back by maybe a couple of tenths, but a 12.4 on his fourth lap is still something hardly anybody can match. IQ0 in second, Longcat in third. J-Box is not coming back into this race. Killian is getting his 5 laps done in an even quicker time. He is 1 second faster again over the whole thing. It's a 102.9 for Killian Rousseau. Hasn't broken 12 seconds yet, but they are so close to doing so. IQ0 comes in 6.5 seconds behind Killian, and Longcat 7 seconds behind his teammate. It got slower for Raiden. It got quicker for Killian. Cyclone still with a 1 point lead, but 2 races to go. The winner of this is immediately into the grand final for Split 3. So the first 2v2 had Killian winning in dominant style, and then IQ0 and Longcat in second and third. We have 4 drones for the next of our 2v2s, and it's more of a mixed start. It was 2 purple in front of 2 oranges, but it's gone wrong again for J-Box and Cyclone. And this will be another point slipping away from Cyclone. Not only that, but Killian's in a battle for that lead, because leading him out of that towards the end of the lap. Coming around the turn, IQ0 is in front of Killian by half a second after 2 laps. Killian still pulling a brilliant first lap, but his second lap was slow. And as they come out of that now, Killian comes across the line behind IQ0, who is in pieces. That lead that was IQ0's is now sadly looking at him from the finish gate on the floor. That is down and in bits. And Killian continues in the new leading position. This turns things around quite considerably as Longcat now heads towards the gate where, sadly for J-Box, his drone is alive and sending him video, but hanging from a guide rope where it is just stuck and suspended. Killian finishes in a 107, which is still the 3rd fastest time. Killian now has the fastest, the 2nd fastest, and the 3rd fastest time on this track. And that wasn't even him at his fastest, really. Cyclone were nearly tied with Raiden, but we'll have 1 more 2v2. And Cyclone are a little bit safer than they were. Currently it is 16 points to 14. Cyclone with a slight 2-point advantage over the Raiden Racing pilots. It was so nearly a tie. It was so nearly 1 or even 2 points in favor of Raiden. Instead, Raiden have got to outscore Cyclone by at least 2 points right now. Away we go with another strong start for Killian. J-Box in second, very close to the floor, still flying. Third place at the moment is Longcat. It's not IQ0. He's in fourth. He's on the ground. This has gone very wrong for Raiden at the last moments. IQ0, after smashing his drone, not completely unflyable, but not in a state he wanted it to be in. He crashed out of the previous race. He's not going to finish this 2v2. We've got Longcat still trying to battle in this one, but he's some way behind in third place at the moment. Killian is doing what Killian does. He's hovering around 12.1 second lap times, not under 12 yet, but he's close. J-Box is on a 12.8 and doing his best to keep up with his teammates. And Longcat has managed to do some of the quickest times we've seen from him so far. Longcat now onto his final lap. His third lap was his quickest. His fourth one is actually the slowest he's had so far. Clearly Longcat saving this now to get his drone safely into this battle with China Dragons. As J-Box is in second, Killian has picked up his quickest time of the whole series again. He's gone on a 102.8. And he wasn't even under that much pressure at the end. Cyclone now have all top 5 best finishing times on this track, and they are our first team into the Split 3 Grand Final! Our first finalist here in Abu Dhabi, it's Cyclone Racing.
こんにちは、ライデンレーシング所属の播磨康之です。よろしくお願いします。現在ライデンレーシングには約7年所属しています。ライデンレーシングに加入するきっかけとなったのは、僕自身ドローンレースを始めて、ライデンレーシングのオーナーの方と、知り合うきっかけがあってお話ししていく中で、ライデンでレーサーとして、世界でレースをしていくっていうことに興味がないかということで声かけていただいて、ぜひやりたいということで、ライデンレーシングに加入して、DCL に参加するという形になりました。2019年に初めて世界の舞台でドローンレースのレーサーとして戦ったんですけど、まず一番初めに感じた一番大きな壁はやっぱり言葉の壁、やっぱり英語がわからないっていうところが一番すごく苦労したというところです。それ以外のところではやはり日本でのレースの環境とやっぱり海外のレース始めるまでの時間とか待ち時間、そういったものも全て経験したことのないものだったので、もう全てが初めてで、2019年はそのレースに集中できるっていう環境では正直なくて、ここでやっぱり聞いたことのない言葉がずっと聞こえてきたりとかしていたので、そっちに気が取られてしまって、あんまりいい成績が残せなかったんですけど、それは今振り返ってみれば、言葉の壁とかいろいろな世界の環境が違うんだなっていうのが今の自分にとってすごくプラスになってます。例的なところと、僕がその2019年にその経験したことを、次世代のパイロットに、パイロット育成として、次の若い世代にそういったことを伝えていきたいと思って、DCL のレースは一旦ちょっと身を引いて、パイロットディレクターみたいなことをやってますっていう。2019年から2019、21、2、3、4、5年ぶりに、実機でのリアルレースが今回再開されるんですけど、おそらく2019年までのレースを経験してる人も、僕含めてごくわずかしかいないと思うので、まず再開されたことにすごく今とても興奮しています。で、今回は室内ですけど、実際に目の前で DCL 機が飛び交うので、すごく楽しみにしています。 ここに参加できれば本当は良かったんですけど、今回はたくさん素晴らしいパイロットが揃っているので、彼らの飛びをしっかり目に焼き付けていきたいと思います。今回は、ライデンレーシングの上部組織であるドローンスポーツというところの、担当として AI ドローンレースの、機体の組み立て、その次に、各チームのパイロットたちが、修理が必要な場合には私たちがそれを修理するっていうところですね。あと飛ばすのに必要なベータフライトの設定とか、その辺必要なところ、各チームが分からないところをサポートするという役割で今回は来ています。ドローンは自分が操縦するというだけではなくて、例えばドローンにプログラミングを書き込むこととか、もっと言ってしまえば航空力学的なことも知識として必要になるし、あとは工作、電子工作の知識もすごく重要になってくると思うので、ただ飛ばしてわーい飛んだっていうだけではなくて、ドローンが飛ぶまでのプロセスの中にはいろいろな知識技術っていうのが必要なので、そういったところで若い人たちが、作る分野、飛ばす分野、自動で飛行するドローンを開発する分野みたいな感じで、いろいろなところで活躍できる機会がたくさんあると思うので、そういったところに興味を少しでも持ってもらえたら、ぜひドローンは楽しいので取り組んでほしいなと思います。
Fighting to stay in the Split 3 finals and one step away from the grand final. It's China Dragons and Raiden, and the battle begins over 5 races, starting with Long XL and Long Cat. The two Longs are going to battle here, and Long Cat with the better of the starts. Long XL behind him for the moment. They ladder beautifully. Nice. Little bit different from Long XL on the exit of that. He was a little bit closer to the right-hand side on the route out. He follows Long Cat to the line. 1 lap is flown. 0.3 of a second between the two of them as they start lap number 2. And Long Cat ladders out and just slightly gets away. Long XL trying to stay with him now. Long Cat through the double split S, comes across the line, and that 0.3 of a second has turned fractionally, but oh so fractionally longer. Now Long Cat leading still in the middle of the race. On lap number 3, Long XL trying to stay with him. Long XL goes to the sky. He's managed to bring it down again, but for a moment, it looked like the roof of the ADNEC Centre was going to keep hold of that for a while. Instead, Long Cat is now with some bit more of a lead and a lot less to worry about. He's got to bring this home for Raiden. He's on his 4th lap. He's way ahead of Long XL, who's only just beginning that 4th lap now. Nevertheless, Long Cat is not slowing down. He was dangerously close to the side of the dive gate. He's safely across the line. Raiden with a big cheer from the pilot area. Raiden get the first win. And Long XL finishes at speed, takes on a gate or two more than he needed to, gets a loud bang just before he touches down. His drone, I think, telling him, okay, stop. So Long Cat really quick on that run, but I'll tell you a pilot who can do it 3 seconds quicker than him, and that's his teammate, IQ0, who's coming up in this battle. Zapita from China Dragons, IQ0 from Raiden. And it's a big crash for Zapita, who's bringing that drone back to life with everything he's got, and it's flying again. It's all in darkness. The LEDs are having no more of it. But Zapita is now stealthily attacking the track in the ADNEC Centre, and IQ0 is 1 lap to the good in a time of 17.4. For now, he doesn't need to push, but Zapita is capable of catching him, although his first lap obviously is quite slow as well after that big loud crash. 2 laps done for IQ0, a 15.2 on his second. That's a better time. It's still not the speeds he can do. He doesn't need to find him yet, as Zapita isn't worrying him just yet. IQ 0 now is double split S-ing with no issues. 3 laps flown. 15.1 on the third, a little bit quicker than the second. He's not holding back too much. Zapita keeps his flying out of the dive gate. Now he does the reverse split S at Block Trade and the double split S at DCL to game, and it's getting dangerous because although Zapita is a long way behind IQ 0, IQ 0 is getting close to lapping him, and the speed of IQ 0 changes. Look what he's doing. Slowing it down quite considerably. He doesn't need to lap Zapita. He doesn't want to get anywhere near Zapita, who is onto his 5th lap safely, which means IQ 0 can bring that one home in a time of 1 minute 23. And Zapita was off to such a good start, but sadly for Zapita, who does finish the race in a time of 1 minute 36, that's going to be added to by 2 seconds as he jumped to the start, but it makes no difference. It's still 3 points for Zapita. 4 drones on the block. Long XL and Zapita for the China Dragons. Long Cat and IQ 0. They're the golden drones for Raiden. Raiden beginning this, the 3rd race of 5, with a 8-6 lead.
No! No!
And it's a start that was incredibly quick for Zapita, but the top of the start timing gate sends him spiraling across the floor, and his drone screams to come back and play, and it gets back into the air. But again, Zapita, sadly, a big crash earlier on, putting him right at the back, but at least he's still in the battle this time. Long XL, his teammate, fighting in the front for now, and the Raiden drones may be starting to find it difficult to catch him. Long XL is getting dangerously close on his 3rd lap to his teammate, who is slowly on his 2nd and goes past him on the last turn of the lap. A good tight place to do it, but not in a gate. Long XL moves up, keeps in the lead. Now the Raiden drones are trying to get past Zapita, who's still flying. We've got Long XL coming onto his final lap now, breaking 15 seconds. IQ 0 is across it too. Zapita is in 3rd. And Longcat is struggling, and IQ 0 is on the ground. Long XL wins the messiest race we've had so far.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
We've still got drones flying. Long XL's is finished in the lead. IQ 0 seems to have only got 4 laps completed for certain. Longcat's going to take 2nd. Zapita's going to take 3rd. China Dragons might have got 6 points out of this in 1st and 3rd. And Longcat may have got the 3 for 2nd place. China Dragons may go from being 2 points behind to 1 point in the lead. So Raiden were 2 points ahead. They are now 1 point behind the China Dragons. It is 12 points to 11 with 2 more 2v2s to fly. Raiden Racing have been there before. Raiden Racing want to be there again. It will be their first time in a grand final in 2024. But for China Dragons, it'll be their first time in a grand final ever since they joined the DCL. Right now, they're guaranteed to be at least 3rd, and the chance of being in that grand final and fighting for the win of Split 3, it's not too far away. And it's a good start for the China Dragons, but they came together. That is not how you want to get a race underway. The first place was theirs out of the blocks, but one is down, straight lines out of the start, through the first gate and onto the floor. I think they came together in order to do so. It is China Dragons fighting on with Zapita and Long XL. And the golden drone of Longcat came together with IQ 0, who's down as well. IQ 0 on the bottom of the double split S on lap number 2. This is going very, very badly for the Raiden Racing team. Now we get a bit of turtle mode for IQ0, but it's gone all the way over. He's not back into it yet, but China Dragons are getting very, very close to that ceiling again. It's not looking too safe at times for the two pilots from the China Dragons, except for their own flying. While they're getting a bit dangerously wild at times, there is no competition from Raiden, and this will see China Dragons surely in the Split 3 Grand Final, which they have never come close to being in at any time in their history. We have Zapita being the first one to finish, showing us why we thought he was going to put up such a battle. We haven't seen it from him yet. You've seen him start races so boldly and have a couple of very early crashes. But there is Zapita showing the pace that I and a few other people knew he could do. He's around that 15, 16 second mark. Still not pushing as quick as some pilots, but he won it. Long XL is second. It is 7 points for China Dragons and absolutely nothing for Raiden Racing. The celebrations, the punching the air, Long XL cannot stand still. Big hug for him from Killian, who's going to be racing him in a grand final. Killian from Cyclone, so happy for his friend Long XL. They know each other well from FAI races, from different ones around the world. A 1 point lead for China Dragons is now an 8 point lead with a race to go, which cannot change it around. Your grand finalists for Split 3 are the, as yet in Split 3, undefeated Cyclone Racing. And they're going up against the China Dragons. Their pilots are the brilliant Long XL and Zapita. On the other side, of course, Cyclone Racing. They've brought in two of the best-known international pilots, J-Box, and also on the team, Killian Russo, who we haven't seen in the DCL for a while. Get ready for your grand final of Split 3, featuring in the first race, J-Box from Cyclone and Long XL from China Dragons. And it is J-Box who gets the quicker of the starts, just fractionally ahead of Long XL. In later races, when we have all four pilots flying, I know the China Dragons have got tactics about staying out of danger. It doesn't matter so much in a 1v1, particularly when you're up against J-Box. Long XL needs to go. And I also know the China Dragons intend to send it, as they know it's a big challenge ahead of them. J-Box leads on second lap through the dive gate. Now going through that is Long XL. He's in the block trade gate, 1 or 2 gates ahead of him is J-Box, as he's now on to lap number 3, and Long XL gets there as well. Down through the ladder, nicely done for J-Box. Also pretty tidy for Long XL. He's not flying slowly. He's kind of keeping the gap just about as tight as he can, but it is stretching nevertheless as we move on to lap number 4. It's another lap flown for J-Box as he is zipping now into the Gemfan and Foxeer pairs. You go through the top 180, you go through the bottom in the opposite direction. He ladders downwards, a left-hand ascending ladder. Then through the dive gate, reverse split S at block trade, a double split S at DCL to game. First lap into the finish gate is J-Box, but he took a bit of the timing gate with him. He nearly didn't finish that run. That final gate, the tight one before the finish gate, he clipped it. A little bit of it went through with him. Just a little bit of debris, but not enough to stop J-Box. But nearly, after 5 laps of brilliant racing, he nearly gifted him a win. After that amazing first race, Killian will try and follow J-Box to another win, and Zapita will be up against him from the China Dragons. And away we go, Killian not hanging around, getting out and getting on with it as we complete the 180s and into the ladder. He flies, and it's a slow and direct route for Zapita into the ladder, a little bit lower than I've seen a few pilots do. A bit more direct. He's going to need to save time anywhere he can. He crosses the first lap now. He is 3 seconds almost behind Killian after the first lap. Zapita, we know he's got brilliant lap times. That was a little bit dangerous on his way to the ladder again. That's somewhere he's definitely attacking the course. Killian out in front, could play it a little bit safer. We saw him doing some great tactics in the racing yesterday, but I don't think he'll take anything for granted. And I think he'll also want to make another statement. I think he's enjoying having so much in the top 10 for himself. He completes the 180s and goes to the ladder. He's a bit higher on the entrance into that, whereas if we watch Zapita, after he completes this Gemfan and Foxeer duo now, he's so flat and direct to it. Doesn't look quite as quick, but it is a little bit shorter. He goes through block trade on the reverse. Split S comes out of DCL the game. He crosses the line onto his 5th and final lap, but Killian is most of that lap ahead of him as he is clean, just finishing into the finish gate in a brilliant time of 106. Zapita completing the double split S a little bit quicker than we've seen him fly before. A little bit slower and safer at the end. That's fair enough. The race is already away. Killian with another win for Cyclone Racing. That's 2 for 2. Zapita battling nicely, but being a little bit left behind. So now we go again with J-Box and Long XL. Saw that battle and how quick both these pilots can be, and that's a dangerous move by J-Box, giving Long XL the lead. J-Box out of the pair of gates was swinging wildly, and as he goes through the dive gate, Long XL watches him as Long XL's gone from the lead to the floor in the middle of lap number 1. The chance there to get away from J-Box was definitely present, but unfortunately the dive gate ruined that chase. Now J-Box flies on to his 3rd lap, and Long XL is a long way behind. That's so unfortunate for the China Dragons, but we saw J-Box nearly come a cropper right at the end of his first race. He's surely going to be a little bit safer. Long XL, I think, might be doing what they tactically arranged for the China Dragons, which is aiming for the finish rather than a battle for the lead. And he's not pushing quite as hard as he was. J-Bucks onto his final lap, managed to get a 12.8 lap time along the way. The other lap's not quite so quick. Long XL hovering around 16 seconds at best, so a big difference between them. But here in the real life racing, you don't want to crash, that throws away your points. J-Box gets 4 and a much cleaner finish for him. If Long XL doesn't finish, that's 3 points lost. It won't be scored for him, so he's got to bring this home through the reverse split S, the double split S of DCL the game. There goes Long XL, choosing for the finish gate. Nearly went round again, but has got that finish done, which will get him 3 points. That means they only concede 1 extra point to Cyclone instead of 4 if he hadn't got there. So far, Cyclone winning out their 3 1v1s against the China Dragons. All 3 of them, 4 points to 3. Here comes our next of our single heats. It's Killian versus Zapita. Good start from Zapita. Killian got a little bit to do, and Zapita goes down. He's going to try and recover it. It looked close to being a mid-air. I'm not sure if they actually came together. It was around the A2RL descending left-hand ladder, which is a dangerous part of the track. Killian's just gone through it now. Zapita is trying to get that drone under control and figure out where he needs to be. He's gone back a few gates to complete the ladder. He's still on his first lap. He's doing exactly what he should do, which is not throw craziness at this to catch Killian, but instead get the finish, like China Dragon said was their aim. So right now, Zapita is getting his first lap flown. With 4 more to go, Killian is 3 laps ahead of him. He's already lapped him. He's completed the double split S. He's on to his final lap. Killian doing these tactical things we saw a little bit of yesterday. If you're going to get close to another pilot, you don't want to do that in something as dangerous as our ladder. So he's right with him in the double split S. That was terrifying. Killian can hang back, not overtake him, doesn't have to pass him. Instead squeezes on the double split S of DCL the game. Maybe Killian's not playing this too safe after all, but it shows you the confidence he's got. Killian finishes, even holding a bit back. He's just got the 4th fastest time on this track. Zapita is on lap number 4. Got to finish it. Definitely capable of doing so. That's that really interesting route he's taking to the ladder, where he's flying a little bit flatter, not even pitching it that hard. He's not trying to gain a lot of altitude. He's not pitching it forward for speed very much either. Here he is through the double split S, and we'll go one more lap with Zapita. But he's finished too soon! Zapita, that's 4 laps, not 5. You've only flown 4 laps. You didn't do the 5th. He went straight into the gate after 4 laps. He's in the finish gate, but he's only flown 4. He hasn't completed the race if he doesn't get that 5th lap in. Right now, Long XL is screaming to Zapita about keep flying, but the drone's in the finish gate. Don't try and fly out of there. Tragically, for China Dragons, they're going to lose 3 points that they could have gained for the 2nd place. The spotting didn't work out for the China Dragons, and as such, Zapita didn't know he shouldn't finish. 16 points to 9, a 7-point deficit between the teams, but we have 3 more races to go, and they will all be the big heats. More drones in the air equals more excitement, equals more danger, equals a little bit more unpredictability as well. And it's close in the start, and it's Zapita down. And we saw this a few times in the first day of racing here in Abu Dhabi as he absolutely sends it out of the blocks and hits the very first gate. This time it was a little bit low. This time the recovery is better. 4 drones lighting up the ADNEC Centre here in Abu Dhabi. Killian's the one in the lead. His teammate J-Box follows him through the double split S. There onto the next lap. Long XL is trying to get towards them. And down goes J-Box. He skimmed it along the floor after going through the double 180s. J-Box currently still in 2nd, but starting to smoke. That drone possibly not going to come back for him. Killian's out in front, and this is the sort of thing China Dragons wanted. They wanted to be in the race and hope that a little bit of fortune could go their way. They might be about to be gifted a few points here, but they'll really regret not getting the 3 in the last one. Now Zapita has just let his teammate Long XL past him. In the double split S at the end of the lap, Zapita just went extra wide, went a little bit extra deep on it, so that Long XL, who's the quicker pilot here on this track, could get past him and try and do the chase on Killian. Long XL comes in 2nd. Zapita's got to do another lap, and thankfully he does. Oh, I was worried he was going straight into the finish after 4. He's on his 5th and final lap now. Ahead of him, Long XL has finished in 2nd. Killian has finished in 1st. J-Box didn't even finish his 3rd lap. He's still down, lighting up part of the ground. There is Zapita through that gate, which he's clipped a few times, and the finish gate. There we go. Now Zapita gets his points for the team. 2 points for coming in 3rd. Long XL gets 3. Killian gets 4. Without J-Box, China Dragons have actually outscored Cyclone in that race by 1 point. China Dragons do. They've got a claw back. At least 6 points. 20 points to 14 in favor of Cyclone Racing. 2v2 races to go. 2 purple drones for Cyclone on the boxes. The white ones for the China Dragons are ready to go. And there's the launch. It's 2 middle drones first. And no, Zapita, who launched 4th, trying maybe to let the danger get away from him, has hit that first gate again, and he wasn't even full send. And Long XL is bouncing off of the floor and struggling. Oh, it's gone a little bit wrong for the China Dragons. Zapita just slamming it into a different part of that first gate. I think that's 4 times he's hit it in 4 different places. And now we've got congestion in the ladder, and that is excellent tactical flying from Cyclone as Killian is out in front. They had Long XL very close. J-Box was there as well. J-Box held back a little bit to give Killian room and then has pushed past China Dragons too. So it's Killian and J-Box in 1 and 2. They're on to their final laps already. It's getting cozy around the ladder again. The China Dragons are both still flying, which is so important. Long XL goes on to his final lap, but he's almost lapped by Killian, who's gone into the finish gate. There's J-Box, loudly and dramatically getting that 2nd place and roaring from the stage. Absolutely loving it. A good thumping finish for Long XL as well. One of the better times we've seen from him. Not his quickest, but one of the better ones. And here is Peter going for his final lap through that deadly gate. And you can go for the finish, Peter, and he does.
It's no question!
Craziness of all the best kinds. That's what you get here in the Drone Champions League. It has been a battle that they did not take lightly. Cyclone Racing are your undefeated Split 3 champions! They have won everything in 2024. Just one thing remains, and that is the DCL Super Final to crown our new world champion for 2024. Our runners-up in our DCL Split 3 finals for 2024. I can't remember ever telling the China Dragons they were runners-up in any of our competitions in all of the years. Yeah. This is by far your best performance, Long XL and Zapita, and what an incredible race you gave us just then.
Yeah, this was amazing race again. Yeah, we are so happy. We are so happy race with Kenya and Z-Box. Yeah. They are so super really fast, and we try our best to push in the last round, and then I forgot the laps.
So it was you who missed the 5th lap and had to come back and get it again?
Yes, because Kenya was crashed at the 5th lap. Yeah. So I think he finished. So I go into the finish gate. But my team manager told me it's not finished. So I try my best to come back.
I was roaring across the arena as well. Don't throw this away. You've only had the 4 laps. Yes. And Zapita in the previous race, he finished a lap too soon. I understand that's his dad's fault.
Yes, because he can't come back because the course was almost really deep. Yeah. But because the China Dragons never gave up, we try our best because our Zapita was always crashed in the start gate. Boom. Yes.
So you were the one in the finish gate on that final one after 4 because you thought Killian had finished.
Yes.
And so you fly. I mean, nobody has ever flown out of a finish gate, gone around again, and then finished.
Yeah, that was crazy things that I do because I want to try it before in the simulator, but I can't do it. But right now, I did it.
You tried it in the simulator?
Yes, but I can't because when in the simulators, it's end. Yeah. So that's why I come here for try it.
Well, that's why in Abu Dhabi you deliberately finished a lap early. Okay, if you say so. How's Zapita feeling? Ask him for me, please. How is he feeling about being a runner-up in such a big event?
你觉得这场比赛感觉怎么样？包括是最后，尤其是最后的决赛。
感觉这次比赛非常完美，然后最后的决赛也非常精彩。我和彭东新都完赛了。
Everything was perfect. Because our goal, because we started like the loser bracket, and it's really hard to come in the final, and we try our best. That is enough.
Well said. And he's just 12 years of age. What an amazing professional attitude that is, and what an amazing story. Congratulations, the China Dragons. Commiserations on it being the runner-up spot, but congratulations on knocking out every other team one by one except for Cyclone in the final. But you have had the most incredible performance and you are the runners-up, and that is amazing. Congratulations to you, Shui Shui,
Thank you,
Zapita, the China Dragons!
Yes, we did it!
Our Split 3 finals champions completing their undefeated season. It is the boys from Cyclone Racing. This incredible story continues in the DCL. Remember, an amateur team who joined the DCL last year. Such a really good performance, making it to the Super Final, being 4th in the World Championship. 2024 hasn't just been a little step better than that. You have absolutely dominated, winning all of the Split finals. I know you came into this feeling like you should win it. Yeah. It's gone as planned then.
Absolutely. yeah, it has.
You didn't hold back in those finals, though. I think both of you were still racing for a bit of pride and to get some incredible times. You set all 10 of the fastest finishing times over 5 laps, and between you, all 10 of the single best lap times, and 5 of those times were set in that grand final. So you, although tactically you might have slowed at times, you weren't hanging around in the front.
Yeah, I was always trying my best. I was managing at the front and like trying to keep my pace to this best. So.
Yeah. Another win for Cyclone. Many people, myself included, if you want to push me on it, were expecting to see you in the final and probably win it. You'd be crazy to think otherwise, given the season that's brought you to this day. And yet, it's still only their second season in the DCL. It's terrifying to think what this team might do. And there's one more thing you haven't won yet in 2024, and that's our super final. But they go into that clearly as the almost perfectly undefeated favourites. Well done, Cyclone. Well, we have been so excited to return to Abu Dhabi, where we raced earlier this year on the Yas Marina Formula One circuit, and now we've returned with our Split 3 finals. And what an incredible 2 days of racing we have had. Big drama, great battles, some surprising results, and some loud bangs along the way, and we don't mind a few of those here in the DCL. It's been brilliant, and now for our top 6 teams, we have our prize giving. The medals and trophies will be handed over by Alex and Michael, our co-CEOs of the DCL. Let's please welcome our 6th place team, battling again and making all 3 of our split finals for 2024. They are DCL's Wildcard Team. Jug Akvar and West couldn't be here right now, but we have Bambi, well-known pilot on the team and who's been helping manage the team. Bambi, Jug Akvar, and of course, West FPV, the Wildcard Team, 6th place in the Split 3 finals. Now please welcome here in Abu Dhabi our 5th place team. They are SDT, the Spain drone team, with Red Sheep and Silvio. Red Sheep and Silvio, SDT! After brilliant battles which see them challenging on the best times and causing us a few surprises and a lot of excitement along the way, our 4th place team, they are Quad Force 1! Screecher and QT FPV. Such legends around the world. QT FPV, Screecher, they are Quad Force 1! Third place here at the DCL Split 3 finals. These 2 incredible pilots we know so well. They are IQ0 and Longcat. They are Raiden Racing! Raiden Racing! And now our runners-up, who've given us so many great memories of our time here in Abu Dhabi. They are Zapita and Long XL of the China Dragons! The China Dragons! And now we welcome the champions of the Split 3 finals and winners of all our Split finals for 2024 in one of the most dominant years of racing we've ever seen. And surely a world title is on their radar very soon. But right here in Abu Dhabi, the winners, they are Cyclone Racing! Killian Russo! J-Box! They are Cyclone Racing! Your Split Split 3 champions in a DCL! We've had another incredible event here in Abu Dhabi with our DCL Split 3 finals. We had great big crashes, we had fantastic drama, we had unbelievable speed and bravery. We also had some big upsets along the way. China Dragons were in the grand final, having eliminated every single team who were here except for one, and that was Cyclone Racing, and they became the DCL Split 3 champions. So congratulations again to Cyclone Racing. The only thing left to determine for 2024 is who will be the DCL World Champions. They will win that title in the DCL Super Finals very soon, so stay tuned.